streams of security, all right? You have different teams of security. And based on their role, you need to make capability development training from basic, advanced to the complex one. I hope this is part of the cybersecurity program for any organization. They need to have such kind of platform because there should be a basic and minimum training. And at some certain levels, there should be advanced training, and they have to be on the complex one, all right? So I hope this one clear. It will be part of the cybersecurity program for any big companies, I think.
First of all, thank you so much, sir, and welcome to our platform cybersecurity pill section. And before we go ahead in our conversation about aviation industry, cybersecurity, and other trends in hiring, etc., I would like you to walk us through your journey.
Yeah, first let me clarify actually. This is maybe the message from my expertise. So it doesn't relate to my organization, just as a professional message only. So any examples and comment that I provide doesn't associate to my organization. So this is Tesfaye, the cybersecurity director in the Ethiopian Alliance. So I am responsible for all of our cybersecurity and compliance issues, plus the risk part. So the whole airline group, which is managed through me. In fact, we have different teams, but there are groups of teams that are working with me. Basically, we cover all the airline as a carrier. No, because we are a carrier or operator, but as an aviation, there are different groups, but we are responsible as a carrier.
What are the most significant cybersecurity challenges faced by the aviation industry today? And how can we address these challenges?
In fact, actually, the challenge in the aviation, through my experience, there are different stakeholders, actually. There are different businesses, stakeholders. And not only the stakeholders, even they have different regulatory body requirements and standard. So the main challenge is actually this one, because you can't define them, because there are a lot of chains at the back of this, the aviation, because we classify the aviation in three parts. For example, you may have the in-flight part in the air side. Again, you can call it on at the ground or air side, you see. So basically the air side, more or less the technology and the process is the same like as an organization, but the in-flight and the air side is totally different one. And so this is one of the challenge. And again, there are skill shortage in the aviation, especially to cybersecurity, because you may have expertise on the other domain, but the technologies in the aviation is now growing, and the connectivity with the aviation systems is growing. So for every time you need to have expertise that work on a specific area. Skill shortage is another problem. Plus on this, the regulatory bodies also, they generate different rules and regulation in each country. For example, in fact, IOSA is supporting airline, but ICAO is supporting for civil aviation or the airport side. And again, TSA, which they are monitoring the airport side. And even on data privacy, we do have GDPR, which we call as general data protection. not only this, every country is now they are generating their own data privacy right, all right? So you need to fulfill such kind of practice across every country. And I assume from my experience, these are the biggest challenge that I can see.
Yeah, but like we have observed as a journalist also that every now and then one or the other hacker is claiming attack on airports or airlines or particular like basically Middle East is very much attacked by the hackers. So is there any particular reason behind this, or or is it the easiest targets for the hacker to attack at the aviation industry?
Specifically, I'm not exactly which aviation maybe that cyber attack happened, but cybersecurity is not only a business issue because I think there may be geopolitical issue also a big challenge. So we assume that maybe the Middle East could be, I think we are talking about even the Horn of Africa, maybe there could be like a geopolitical issue. So on this one, possibly cyber attack, one part of weaponization tool, they can use it to disrupt any business process. So from my experience, I haven't seen exactly the aviation industries are totally disrupted with cybersecurity, but they may have some issues on there, as I said, on the main, not the main process, just like on the, which we call it, on the air side, maybe they may have some issues, but the main their business process on the aviation, like disrupting of flights, I never seen such kind of thing.
Okay. So what are the key cybersecurity regulations and standards that airline must comply with? Is there any particular that you want to highlight?
Of course, yes. You need to meet, actually not a standard, just a recommended practice, basically. You need to fulfill the recommended practice. That practice, it could be no-show item for every activity. So you need to fulfill that recommended practice. For example, let me give you IATA, it's supporting airline, all right? So the IOSA, which is part of IATA, they monitor and assess the operation of the airlines. And that assessment has to pass with their checklist, all right? So they give you a recommended practice. On that, there are must and shall activity, and you need to fulfill that, all right? But there are also other regulations, as I clearly defined, GDPR, one of the regulatory body that you need to fulfill. And if you are processing like credit card information, PCI DSS is also one of the regulatory body requirement. If your e-commerce channel is not certified to the PCI DSS, you can't use their own credit, the customer credit card and whatever, all right? So every e-commerce channel has to fulfill such kind of thing. But the industry is open. For example, you can use NIST as your standard, or you can use ISO for your standard. They didn't push you just to follow a single standard, but as long as you have the best practice at your hand, they assist you. And again, ICA also, they have a cybersecurity strategy document. You can follow that. That's a currently existing cybersecurity recommended practice, but it's not a must. They didn't push you to follow specifically such kind of practices, all right?
Okay, so my another question to you is, how do you approach cybersecurity training and awareness program for both cybersecurity team and the staff at the airline particularly? Or is there any particular different method for both of them?
Of course, in fact, yes, because from our practice maybe, or for any industry, I can see two types of staffs, all right? Technical and non-technical, all right? But you can add it a group, like you can make it C-level or critical users. You can make it different layers of responsibility, and based on that classification, you can provide an awareness, all right? So I can tell you that C-levels, they are more critical decision makers, and phishing, social engineering, they may attack from top to bottom, all right? In this case, you need to have a custom and a unique training for C-levels, because even there's a concept of what they call it, C-level compromise, all right? Because once the C-level decision maker, if they are compromised, automatically the decision goes to the lower employee and they will take action, all right? And second, we have a technical teams, which could be a developer, a system administrator, or engineers on the cloud. They need a specific training, technical training. And again, we have non-technicals. We give just high-level awareness about type of phishing, the malwares, and whatever, all right? So we provide training based on this classification and their details of knowledge about subject matter.
How should organization approach the training and upskilling their cybersecurity? Is there any particular best practices or strategies they should follow? Or particular program is designed for them?
I think you are trying to explain about training, all right? On the training part, you mean?
Training and upskilling, basically.
Upskilling, all right, yes, yes, of course, actually, because especially the people on the security team, they need to be trained specifically for security areas, because there are different streams of security, all right? You have different teams of security. And based on their role, you need to make capability development training from basic, advanced to the complex one. I hope this is part of the cybersecurity program for any organization. They need to have such kind of platform, because there should be a basic and minimum training. And at some certain levels, there should be advanced training, and they have to be on the complex one, all right? So I hope this one clear. It will be part of the cybersecurity program for any big companies, I think.
Okay. So when you hire, like when any organization hire a cybersecurity professional, what are the key skills or quality one should prioritize when hiring any talent? Is there any particular thing that need to be taken into consideration while hiring a particular talent for the specifically for cybersecurity role?
In fact, yes, it depends on country to country, organization to organization. For example, maybe in the region that I exist, you may not get expertise directly from college, all right? So most of them may be developers, programmers, or system administrator, all right? Okay. Then we use a concept of reskilling, all right? Reskilling, meaning once you're absorbing employees like a developer, once they exercised at some period of time, you move them to security and you reskill them. You give them a specific training to cybersecurity, all right? Okay. So you educate them per your internal program. There's no direct absorbing of cybersecurity expertise from college, from universities, or any from market, all right? But the best strategy that I can recommend may be just reskilling. You can reskill based on their interest after they are doing some period of time on system administrator, or if they are doing on cloud engineer, if they are network administrator. So after they are working a year, whatever, you can make them move to security and reskill their capability of cybersecurity. So this is the best strategy that I recommend, and everyone can follow as well this one if they have skill shortage. Okay,
so like, can you just help us with some of the trends you are witnessing that are being emerging in airline industry, basically when it comes to cybersecurity, and how can these industry can adopt those emerging trends to like they have a strong future ahead? Apart from AI and ML, they are at boom right now. So is there any other technology or emerging trends that you want to highlight?
Actually, no. Even we don't have such kind of practice. But as I told you, maybe the concept of even cybersecurity is not like, it's like an infant stage really to talk to you, by the way, because from my experience, the challenge is coming like in 5-3 years period of time. So we are now moving to that, but I don't have any real answer for that, because even we are now creating security because operation is already there, all right? But the challenge of security is now coming. So hopefully we will go to that, but I don't have any answer for that at this moment.
No worries. So now, what about the collaboration and partnership? How important it is in the life to collaborate and partnership with public and private sector when it's come to cybersecurity as a whole?
Yeah, actually, collaboration is a must because we work with different stakeholders, all right? And collaboration is one part of the reporting mechanism, data sharing mechanism. So basically, we collaborate specifically companies that are working on the aviation. One of them, maybe Star Alliance, is one of our collaborator. As we are a Star Alliance member. Even there are other members as well, but Star Alliance is one of the airline members, as I told you. So similarly, there are other companies you collaborate and share data between organization to organization within the aviation. Not only the Star Alliance, even the local cybersecurity regulators as well, they expect to share data between critical infrastructure because airline, civil aviation, or whatever companies, they are the critical infrastructure for any country. So it's by and large, it's expected them to share and collaborate, all right? So the collaboration is here, but the platform, data sharing mechanism, the efficiency, effectiveness, it needs to be work again, because as I discussed about cybersecurity is an emerging concept for especially in our region, but the collaboration already there. Even the team is already there, but data sharing mechanism in the culture, it needs to be grow. That's why, because it's a must. Even you are expected to share data. For example, if one airline has cybersecurity challenge, it's obviously expected to share what happened to that organization to the other airline, because the similar thing has to be protected on the other end.
Yeah, right. So when we talk about the supply chain, what are the key challenges in securing the supply chain within the aviation industry, and how we can address them? Because today supply chain is a major concern.
Of course, yeah, supply chain is a major concern because you have a lot of logistic service providers. You will have different procurement processes. You'll have you need to acquire different type of technologies, and you will have even different type of services, and there are layer of service providers, all right? Because there's a concept of, for example, OEM, they have a partner, they have a distributor, they have a reseller, you see? Even there are connectivities again between them. But to minimize or adapt supply chain risk, that I recommend just start from third-party risk assessment. Just try to have third-party risk assessment. On top of that, try to use like threat intelligence feeds solution, because the numbers of third parties are huge in number. Even you don't have time, resource physically to assess every resource. But if you use threat intelligence feeds, they have a capability to share data from different perspectives, all right? And then we can easily see the supply chain risk at each step of service delivery. So we are starting this one. Hopefully, through a process, we'll come up to centralized third-party or supply chain risk assessment through threat intelligence or threat feed solution, all right?
Okay. So my last question to you is, like, one need to do the audits, and how important when it comes to cybersecurity organizations, and what are the key area while doing audits that need to be have a core focus on?
In fact, auditing is one part of our main process. And even it's expected regulatory bodies, they need how you make a risk assessment or auditing, how you mitigate each part of the risk assessed, all right? But before that, what we do, we classify based on the criticality area of the risk that's to be assessed, all right? So based on that criticality, we do the formal risk assessment through our risk management framework. Then we do risk registration. Once it's registered, we discuss about each part of identified risk. And then based on risk response mechanism, for example, if the risk is accepted at some level of management level, or do we accept the risk? If the risk needs to be mitigated, again, we go for mitigation if controls not to be in place. And again, if risk has to be transferred, we do the same. And if it is avoidable, we do it avoiding, all right? And then we put a risk management practice, but this is something that's to be periodically. For example, we are expected to do it like quarterly basis, but there is no specific regulatory board that checks you do it like in quarterly basis, yearly basis, monthly basis. Based on our posturing, based on our data asset, based on the criticality, we can define it. It could be weekly, not weekly. Actually, it's not feasible weekly because it's a very huge asset. We can do it like quarterly or in a 6 months, by the way, because this one is at the end expected to be delivered to the management. They have to review it, and if any expected things has to be done, we rework back again. Hopefully, this is one part of our business processing. We do it in every time.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.